Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, I folks, sampler platter video series of videos I've been doing for a little while. I'll go over there and try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, folks, and I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that the time I'm doing this, folks, there's, crazy cage fighting action that you can watch on pay-per-views these days, and it might be a thing. Or conversely, you can do what I do, because I'm a little bit of a hipster, I guess, and go over there and watch 80s and 90s kickboxing matches on YouTube. I'm fine. The MMA is fine. I like kickboxing. I'm a big fan of martial arts movies and stuff, and a lot of those guys did martial arts movies. Benny the Jet Urquidez, Gary Daniels, who are some other good ones? Curtis Bush, Don the Dragon Wilson. Go watch a Don the Dragon Wilson movie, folks. Go watch the Blood Fist series. He did 8 of them. But anyway, I'm inside the truck. I'm going to eat some food and review it. But I also got a cool shirt on, folks, even if it's wrinkly. When I have a cool shirt on, I like to highlight the cool shirt. What cool shirt am I wearing? Boom! Dosu Kinata shirt. If you're not familiar with Dosu Kinata, I am not surprised. He is a fairly minor character in the Naruto universe. Naruto's an anime. It's been around a long ass time. Granted, yes, now they're on to Boruto. No, thank you. Unless they bring Dosu Kinata back, in which case I will become the most avid fan that this world has ever seen. Dosu's my boy. I love him. He didn't meet the best fate in the series. Although, we never actually found out what happened to him. I'm just saying. But, I love him, and I don't care. I don't care if he never shows up in another episode. Always going to represent Dosu. Even if Naruto as a whole, it got weird and I wasn't super into. Aliens. That's when you know you wrote your ass into a corner, when you're just like ... and then aliens happened. I'm just saying. Anyway, folks, what am I going to try for you guys? What am I doing today? Well, folks, we got a bit of a twofer because we're doing a rematch. We've got, boom, white bag, and boom, Portillo's hot dog bag. Specifically, folks, I went over there not too long ago. I did a comparison video between Portillo's and Scooby's in the Battle of the Chicago-style hot dogs. Both of these are Midwestern institutions. They're known for their hot dogs. I had to go over there and put them up against one another. And watch that full review, but at the time, I gave the slight edge to the Scoobies. I figured it was only fair to go over there and give them a rematch against another thing that they're both well known for, which is the Italian beef. Now, that said, I will say Portillo's, I would say, is more known for their Italian beefs compared to Scooby's, which I think more for their Red Hots. So, should be noted that both of these have sweet peppers on them because I like sweet peppers on my Italian beef. So the first one we've got, folks, is, oh my God, this is just, how do people not live in the Midwest? They're like, brr, I live in New York or California, which is perfectly fine, by the way, but come the fuck on, man, ha 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 ha. So this is the first one. It's delicious, well, hopefully. I actually haven't had an Italian beef from Scooby's in a very long time. I kind of have other Italian beef places that I tend to go to, so... But that's the Scooby's offering. Now, let's take a look at the Portillo's offering. Ooh, I can tell that the Portillo's is wetter. Now, Italian beef, it's a roll. There's beef in it. You can add peppers and such. A lot of it comes down to the dip, though, folks. Now, I didn't ask for a dip on either of them. I should have. I should have asked for a dip, but I forgot to. But it does look like Portillo's, they just did the dip. Okay, they went over there, they did the dip instinctually, whereas with Scooby's, didn't get the dip. So, we'll see how things go. I tried to keep it as even as possible, but like I said, I wasn't really thinking about the dip. What kind of Midwesterner am I? Let's do one for the... it's hard to do. Oh no. Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! There we go. For the thumbnail. Now, I am going to go over there. I'm going to start off with Scooby's this time because two reasons. One, last time I started with Portillo's. And two, they're the returning champ. So it's only fair. All right. Now, first off, we're going to get this big old chunk of beef. Now, I will say, I think Scooby's is the bigger of the two. Not by a huge margin, but... spiced beef, it's so good. Yeah, you can look at it. You're definitely getting more from Scooby's. That's just a fact. They're similar in length, but in terms of what you're getting, in terms of beef, it looks like you're getting more with Scooby's. But I will say, their beef does look a little bit more anemic than Portillo's. So, all right. The beef was good. It was spiced and delicious. I enjoyed it. Let's give the whole thing, pepper included, a proper go. Now, I will say, while it wasn't dipped, the roll is still nice and moist from the runoff from the beef. So, not dipped, but still nice and spongy. You got to have a good roll, folks. You got to have a good roll. That's a key to an Italian beef, because it's got to sop up all that stuff. I mean, it's a solid Italian beef. Like I said, you got delicious spiced meats. The roll is good. It's tasty, too. I mean, the roll actually has a good taste to it. The sweet peppers are nice. They add in a nice little bit of freshness to it. Kind of break up, the somewhat savoriness of everything else going on. It gives it a little something extra. That's why I like it. And I will say it'll be interesting to see. The sweet peppers might be the determining aspect here, because with the Chicago-style dogs, I found that the pickles that they used, I preferred to Portillo's. So, veggies might be the thing. So this is a perfectly respectable Italian beef from Scooby's. It is not my favorite Italian beef that I've had. Like I said, there's a couple little spots kind of locally that I know that I'm a little bit more preference to, but it is still very good. About the only thing I would have changed is if I'd thought about it, I would have asked to have it dipped, because dipped is just the best. All right, so that is the Scooby's offering. Let us now move on to the Portillos. Now, with these peppers, they're really there. I'm actually going to go from this side. First, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try a little beef. Now, you can see the beef is different compared to the Scooby's. It's more kind of shredded, whereas with the Scooby's, it's more like full beef. Now, I'm not saying that's, better or worse, just the case. Definitely a different flavor profile on the beef. Definitely different. I don't know if I necessarily better or worse per se. Let's try the whole thing. Folks, you gotta have it dipped. It makes the whole thing buttery, and it practically melts in your damn mouth. Even though the other one was nice and moist, I mean, I will say this. In terms of texture and eating profile, I do prefer the Portillo's because it's dipped. Straight up, that's just a thing. But that's not all we're talking about here, folks. There's multiple things to take into account. Now, I try to do a little beef versus beef specifically. Because at the end of the day, Italian beef, it's about the beef. It just is. Some Scooby's beef. It's got a nice beef flavor to it. You can taste the spices, but the spices really sort of help elevate the beef. So that's really what it needs to do. I'm a big fan of that. Let's give Portillo's a shot again. Just the beef. Let go. Yeah, it's very different. Very, very different beef styles. The Portillo's, the beef is less flavorful. It has a different flavor profile. Like for one thing, it's actually chewier, which I was kind of surprised. And I mean, I guess maybe I would have thought with the marinade and such, but maybe that's what's helping it make it a little bit chewier. Whereas compared to the Scoobies, it's a little bit drier, even though it's still wet. It just takes longer to get to the flavor with the Portillo's. With the Scoobies, I feel like you're not only getting the flavor faster, but on top of that, the beef flavor is just better. You're tasting the individual spices a little bit more. All right, well, can I try a pepper versus a pepper? This is a multifaceted review, folks. That's what you come to me for, I guess. Scoobies. It's nice and crisp. Tastes like a sweet green pepper. I'm down with that. Very interesting. So, Portillo's, much squishier pepper. Like it like with everything else on the sandwich, kind of wants to melt in the mouth. The flavor is very different. It's not as sweet, but it actually probably has more flavor overall. I'm guessing maybe they marinated it as well, because it seems like with the Scooby's one, it tastes more like what I associate with a sweet pepper, which is it tastes like a green pepper. That's also a little sweet. With this, I wouldn't say it's that sweet, but it definitely has more flavor going on, kind of overall. It's interesting, folks. Interesting. We're doing science here. All right. We're going to do one more bite from each, and then I'll make my judgment. More of a... Oh, no, there's pepper up there. Okay. Funny thing is, it's the battle of the Italian beefs, but honestly, it's kind of like comparing apples and oranges. They both have things that they do well compared to the other one, but in very different ways. With the Scoobies, I think overall the beef taste is just better. It just is. And I like the pepper flavor a little bit better, even if it's a little less flavorful overall. It tastes more like what I feel a sweet pepper should taste like, and I think it works really well with the overall. Now, with the Scoobies, or not the Scoobies, I'm sorry, with the Portillo's, I would honestly say that I think overall, each individual element offers a little bit less for me than Scooby's does, but as a cohesive unit, it actually works extremely well together. The fact that the beef and the peppers are so moist, it ties in with the whole dip. Because like I said, you bite into it and it wants to melt in your mouth. And that's a wonderful thing. And even if the beef itself doesn't taste quite as good, the fact that the pepper adds on a very different type of flavor than the Scooby's one, it kind of makes up for that. And it sort of gives it a peppery savoriness to it. Whew, okay. What is my heart telling me? Okay, so, all right. I think for me, I have to give it, again, to Scooby's. And it's going to seem like I'm shitting on Portillo's, and it's not. But here's the thing. Ultimately, I think the thing that gave it the edge, because in terms of an actual experience, I probably did like the Portillo's a little bit more, because it felt more like a specific, Italian beef experience for me. But I think the overall quality of the Italian beef, everything that's going on with that, with the Scooby's, is just better. And I think really the only thing that gave it the edge with the Portillo's to some extent was the dip. I think if the Scooby's had been dipped, I think overall that would have been better. So I have to give it to Scooby's. Because again, I feel like honestly in terms of quality, the individual components are just better. And if I think, like I said, if I just had it dipped, I think it personally would have won out, even though I did like it on both occasions. So I'm sorry, Portillo's. Like, you're not bad. You're a very solid option, but you don't quite do it for me the way I'd like. But man, that's a delicious dip. And I do think overall you work really well. Anyway, folks, I got to get out of here. I actually got a friend of mine right behind me. So have yourself a great rest of the day, all that good stuff. 5 things before I get out of here. Great rest of the day, spectacular rest of the monumental rest of month, blah, 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 blah. And do the thing. Try to bring some positivity in the world as long as possible. It is always appreciated. Bye.